Hello, everybody. My name is Jesse, and I am your virtual adventure guide here with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. Welcome to our second week of Epic Broadcast. Now, last week we did adventures all over the world. We got the chance to hang out with space scientists, environmental scientists, filmmakers, and so many more. And I'm so excited to dive in with another week of adventure with you today. I want to say before we get underway that I always encourage our audience and our speakers to do a little dance with that music. And one of our speakers today, joining us off the coast of California, did an amazing job. You'll get a chance to meet him a little bit later. So without further ado, I want to dive in. We've got a lot of speakers today to dive in with adventure. And so one of the things that we like to focus on a lot here at Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants is youth action. Now, so many of the kids that join our broadcast are keen on climate, on oceans, on saving wildlife, and so many more. And so I'm excited to dive in with the team from Peaceboat and Blue Planet Alliance today to talk about some of the amazing work that they're doing to build advocacy and awareness for some great projects happening around the globe, making the world a better place, and to hear from some of their youth leaders across the planet from some of their own personal stories on board Peaceboat and more. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Emilie McGlone. She is the director of Peaceboat US to tell us a little bit more about what this is all about and introduce some of her amazing youth ambassadors. So Emilie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. Really excited to share our work with you and just to share a little bit more about our experiences traveling on the Peaceboat and working with the nonprofit organization of Blue Planet Alliance. So I work as a director of Peaceboat US, which is based in New York City, and our main headquarters is also in Tokyo, Japan. So today I'm going to start by sharing a little bit about our organization. And this is our ship. It's a passenger ship which holds more than 1,000 people. And we use this ship as a venue for education and raising awareness for peace and sustainability. Here you can see that we also work on the SDGs, which are the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So as we travel the world, we visit around 20 countries every 3 months. You can see here we have 3 different routes. Sometimes we take the red line, which is kind of a northern hemisphere, and then sometimes we go south, the green line, which is to the southern hemisphere. And each year we visit about 100 ports of call. And we travel as an organization working to promote environmental sustainability and responsible tourism. We really believe that travel in itself can be a tool for positive social and political change, which means that we work with different NGOs and youth groups, indigenous communities, and partners in every country that we visit in order to promote a more peaceful and sustainable future for all. On board the ship, we have guest speakers who give lectures and workshops, just like we're doing here today, about all kinds of topics. And of course, as we're traveling on the ocean, we always focus on education and life below water. So here we have those 2 different types of SDGs listed. We also have many youth programs, which is what we're really excited to share with you here today. And here's one photo of our Ocean and Climate Youth Ambassador Program. These are young people, usually coming from small island developing states, who are really on the front lines of climate change and ocean degradation. And they come on board to share their stories and testimonies, working towards a more sustainable future, especially for island leaders. And we really believe that's time to act now. So that's why we work very closely with the United Nations on all of the SDGs, working to promote the Sustainable Development Goals and reach those goals by the year 2030. And with that, we started a youth scholarship. So I wanted to also share this with all of you. For young people between the ages of 18 and 30 years old, you can apply for this youth scholarship in the future and come on board with Peaceboat. So we have here with us also 2 of our Youth for the SDG scholars. Some of our scholars have come with us to Patagonia. So this is a trip that we took in the Southern Hemisphere, traveling with Peaceboat. And each of our scholars works to share their best practices, what they're working on for sustainability, and also to exchange ideas and help each other to continue their work for the SDGs in their home communities. Here we have a photo, for example, of one of the activities that we organized with another nonprofit called My World Mexico. And we did a beach cleanup because Peaceboat is always traveling on the coast and visiting coastal communities. We try to leave every place cleaner than when we found it and in better condition by helping to make these coastal cleanups as some of the volunteer activities with our Youth for the SDG scholars. And of course, we always try to delve into nature and learn about the local biodiversity and natural habitat. So here we're also in Costa Rica, where we got to go hiking in the rainforest. And we have the SDGs logo painted on the hull of the ship. So everywhere that we travel, you'll see this big rainbow colored logo, which represents all of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So next, I would like to introduce one of our first Youth for the SDG scholars. Juan Sebastian is from Colombia, and he's going to be telling you a little bit more about his experience on the Peaceboat. Welcome, Juan.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you, Emily. And thank you for this invitation to talk about my own experience. Was via scholarship on board the Peaceboat. So I start with this presentation is Peaceboat for United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So I have the lucky to travel to Panama with Emily from Colombia to Panama, and the first moment in my travel it was with this cultural exchange with the Kuna indigenous community in Panama. Probably was be one of the most best experience with the young kids and young people in this exchange because our mission is connect bridges in our society. So when I go to this community in Panama, probably was be the best thing in this program. Next slide, please. Okay, so in the first day we go to the Kunayana indigenous community, but the next day we go to a stay home program and exchange with the Berakera indigenous community. So we travel in this boat like I don't know, like a half an hour, and we arrive to the Berakera indigenous community, and we stay one day over there, and yeah, was be one of the best exchanges in my life. I am from Colombia, so it's interesting because I connect with the indigenous communities in Latin America. But more of this is connect with the people. It's connect with our soul. I think so. So I was be very inspired with the indigenous communities in this part of the trip in Panama. Next slide, please. And also we go to the City of Knowledge in Panama, and we have a conference of implementation of the SDGs in Latin America in the United Nations regional offices for Latin America and the Caribbean. So we talk with the representative from United Nations, and we're talking about how we can implement the SDGs in Panama in Latin America. One of the best things for me on this part was be in Panama promote the SDGs in July. It's like a month for SDGs. So in July, everybody speak about SDGs, radio, television. So it's interesting because right now I'm living here in New York City. Nobody speak about this. So yeah, probably will be very inspired talking in this conference. Next slide, please. And yeah, finally, in this photo, we are on board the Peaceboat, and I meet these amazing guys, the survivor of the atomic bomb from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and will be one of my best friends on board the Peaceboat when I traveled in 2018. And this photo portfolio for me was be inspiring because yeah, it's connect different corners, like for example from Colombia, from Japan, from Costa Rica and Latin America. But everybody is working for something, for peace and promoting the sustainable development goals, and right now with the free war of nuclear weapons. And also it's interesting because everybody go to Panama and everybody see the Panama canal. In my own case, be a scholarship and travel with Peaceboat will be totally different because we travel through the Canal Panama, and this for me is interesting because it's coming from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean through the ship. So what be interesting, the people over there is remix from different parts around the world, from Japan, from China, from USA, from Mexico, from different parts around the world. So uh, traveling through the Canal Panama is one of the best experience. Like when you go to Panama, we are starting our trip to the Pacific Ocean. Next slide, please. And yeah, like Emily said before, Peaceboat is an educational program. So always we have a workshop with the most inspired guys and guests. And this moment we have the lucky to see this guy. Is called Roberto Zamora. He's a Costa Rican lawyer. And I was very inspired with him because I am professional in international relations and political studies. And when I start to meet him, when I come back to my country, to Colombia, and I start to read about him, it's interesting because he gave me a lot of tools for my career, my professional development. So they gave me a lot of tools for the peace building in Colombia and how their own experience in Costa Rica can help me to promote the peace in my country. So you can see the video in Vimeo is interesting. Another important guest that I have it and promote the probably the best SDGs that I promote in every moment. The SDGs number 17 is this workshop with Jorge Norwaski. I remember this workshop because it's public-private partnership instrument for the sustainable development. And also when I come back to Colombia in 2019, I start to work with the government in the Ministry of Education, and some model of the middle of the public-private partnership is developed by him. So yeah, it's interesting because yeah, I meet him in person in the cruise ship travel in this program with John for SDGs, but also it's interconnected with my things that I did in my country. We traveled from this in this moment from Panama to Costa Rica. We arrived to Costa Rica to a rainforest, butterflies and bees cleanups in Costa Rica. We travel in a cruise ship. And it's interesting cruise ship. It's a big cruise ship. Our mission is when we stay in the docks, in the ports, always we clean the beaches. For me, probably was the best thing because when I remember when I arrived to Costa Rica, the first thing that we thinking is, hey, look the beach. We need to clean. We need to clean this. So yeah, I love this photo with this team of guys. This photo is from in Costa Rica the last day. And also, we are selected from a team of young leaders around the world. So I meet this team of guys, very inspired. So yeah, we teach everything about each other. So we work. We have some workshops. In my own case, I share my experience that I work for the Peaceboat in Colombia, in focus on the SDGs number 17 and then number 16. So the other guys explain about the SDGs 16, the SDGs 7, and also more SDGs. So yeah, I learn with my scholarship about different issues, global issues than they did in their community locals. And yeah, we traveled in this cruise ship, and our last stop was be in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico in 2018. This is the day that we arrived to Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, and partnered with my work Mexico, we made the beach cleanup. So we spent all the day clean the beach, and yeah, it's our mission to do this type of things, to not just travel, it's travel with passion, travel with something. And also we make the SDGs and the oceanal mural painting in the University of Guadalajara, Costa. So yeah, we made this like a painting promoting the sustainable development goals. And yeah, we spent all the day painting with the team of guys from Mexico. It was be very interesting right now. Some of these guys was be one of my best friend. I remember this guy Javier, and every moment I test with him on how we can make some projects together. Right now I am living here in New York City, but how we can connect with the people in Mexico and we can develop projects. And the last part was be the learning about the ecotourism and visit the world sanctuaries of sustainable tourism in Mexico. Probably for me will be the best part of the trip because it's like a ecotourism that probably I want to find in a tourist right now in traveling a cruise ship. So learn about the experience about ecotourism in this part in Mexico was be interesting. That you can use the sunscreen. Everything is inspired about how we can protect the ocean and how we can protect this island. And also, yeah, this is I finished with my scholarship, but with Peaceboat, always we working. Right now, when I come back to New York to work and living, we make different relationships in different events. So I help with Emily with these events here in New York City. I meet Sarah in these events. So yeah, a Peaceboat is more like a scholarship. Probably Peaceboat is like a family because right now is my family here. And yeah, this is my last photo. When I see the Peaceboat, I want to see you again in New York City when they come back. But yeah, this will be my experience traveling in 2018. Probably for me will be the best experience in my life. I was be very inspired. Right now I am different guy. I'm Juan Sebastian. And thank you guys for listening.
Thank you so much, Juan. That was really great to share your experience. And I hope that inspires a lot of the youth to visit Latin America next time. So next up, we have here Sarah Van Urdy from New York City. Sarah, welcome to the show. So excited to have you here with us.
Thank you so much, Emily. Hi, everybody. If you are live with us right now, I was a teacher with Global Kids, so give your teacher a high five or a little wave. I love teachers. Also, congratulations on all of you for starting your school year strong. So yes, I'm Sarah. In this photo here, you can see that I fell in love with the ocean even before I knew about the Sustainable Development Goals. So if you don't know yet about the Sustainable Development Goals, which we're talking about today, Juan did a really awesome job about talking about them as well, then congratulations, because it's a really cool way to understand all the different options you have on how to make the world a better place. So you'll see a lot of this in this presentation. How did I find out about them? So when I was getting my master's in New York University for social work, I studied abroad in Argentina. And in Argentina, I worked at a homeless shelter where we put on an art exhibit at the end where the young people were able to write poetry, learn about mental health skills, and also just share their voice. So these are some photos of the amazing young people I met in Buenos Aires. And I got to learn also about social justice issues on a macro level. While there, as activism is, you can also have so much fun and see amazing places. So I was able to visit the Perito Moreno Glacier and hike on it. So these are two of my photos in Patagonia in Argentina. And I saw up close and personal just how stunning glaciers are and how important it is to keep them healthy. I hadn't seen a glacier up until this point in my life, so it felt very real to me to understand glaciers melting when I saw them in person. After I got back from Argentina and started looking for jobs, I found a job called Global Kids in New York. So Global Kids is an organization where we work in schools. So like I said, I was a teacher for after-school programs. We had a human rights program. I led a group called Queer Alliance. And all of our programs were about the Sustainable Development Goals in some way, whether it was cleaning litter off of the streets, going to rallies. And in the photo on the right, that's the picture of the Wellness Center, where I was the person in the room that helped students feeling anxious or stressed. And that's a place where they had a safe place to go just to talk about what's going on with them. These are other pictures of the cool things we did with Global Kids. So on the left, you can see a photo called Water is Sacred. And that was a rally to protest a pipeline that was going to go through Pennsylvania, through New York, into New Jersey. And if you don't know what a pipeline is, this was a fracked gas pipeline. They're dangerous for the environment in a couple of ways. Maybe you can also ask your teacher after. But we were protesting it. We actually got New York to reject the permit. So this felt like a really huge win. And you also got to speak through a megaphone and share your voice, which was really empowering too. All right, so because Global Kids is actually a partner with Peaceboat, meaning they work together, they do things together throughout the years, I also was honored to get the Youth for the Sustainable Development Goals scholarship, just like Juan. Unfortunately, we were on a different voyage. I was on the 100th voyage, which was from Ushuaia, Argentina. You can see in the map there, it's actually the tip of South America. And we sailed over 10 days to Valparaiso, Chile. And this is the crew of people that I got to meet. And you can see Emily on the right there as well. So on board the ship, Peaceboat was incredibly welcoming. They had our photos so that everyone could know who we were and talk to us. I also, just like Juan did, got a chance to meet a survivor of Hiroshima. This woman's name is June, and she was super sweet. And we got to learn a lot about the history of countries and things that have gone on in them, and just have, again, a bigger, broader perspective of how you can learn about social justice and do something about it yourself. So this was another fun event we did on board. We held a petition for people to sign if they wanted to help Patagonia, the Chilean side, become a World Heritage Site. that would give it a lot of protections. And that's what we're all about, is trying to protect nature as much as we possibly can right now. Other fun things we did, we got to meet the captain of the ship, see how he did all of the amazing things he did to keep us safe and keep us on the right track. There's no, way to really keep direction in my mind on the ocean. So I was really impressed to see how he did that. And yeah, Peaceboat just offers you the chance to meet people, again, from around the world with all different jobs. So no matter what your hobby is or passion is, there's a place for you on Peaceboat, and there's a place for you in sustainability. So again, like I just said, if you have a hobby of singing, for example, I love singing. On board Peaceboat, there was a Club Bahia, which was a karaoke bar. So I got to meet people through music as well. So again, if there's any artists in the room or instrumentalists or singers, you can also get involved in activism through that. When we landed in Valparaiso, Chile, we also got to talk to local news. We got to hold a volunteer program and teach people how to make a light out of solar powered batteries. It was very cool. It was with an organization called Leader of Light. And we actually got to put our work to action. So we installed solar paneled lights into a community in Valparaiso. We then drove to Santiago, where we got to talk to people at the United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean. And I got to talk about my two of my favorites, I love all of them, Sustainable Development Goals, which was good health and well-being, and gender equality. And when I came back to New York, the fun didn't end there. I got to talk at the United Nations here in Manhattan. This was at the Committee on Teaching about the United Nations. So trying to talk again to educators and teachers around the world, how they can talk about the Sustainable Development Goals. And these are some events that have happened since. So on the right, you see one of my mental health interns at Global Kids. We did a beach cleanup. So we picked up throughout an hour and a half on Coney Island, and we got all this awesome trash. Not that it was awesome, but it was great to pick up and really cool to meet people that were just as passionate as I was. On the left, we were at a global fashion exchange. So if there's anyone that likes fashion in the room, there's also a place for you. We got to swap clothing so that it wasn't as harmful for the environment to buy new clothes, and also meet incredible people. And in the middle photo is myself and my friend Ryan performing at an event to also promote sustainability through music. And again, there's a place for you. So in addition to singing music, I also love poetry. And I wrote a poem with all 17 Sustainable Development Goals in them. But just for the sake of time, I'll read you a couple of lines from a piece of the poem, just to show again how you can really give your creativity in this fight. I see a world that is focused on healing our planet, our animals, ourselves, and each other. I see a world where we remember we belong to the earth, that we still cry the ocean's language, that we were life below water. I see a world that is blue from the ocean regaining the color in her cheeks, her coral coming back to life, her lungs free of plastic, her fish flourishing, her dolphins roaming free. She is there for us to believe in, to dance amidst her swaying tides. She is everything to teach us about patience. So thank you again, and please just know if you have any passion or hobby, get creative with it, and let's go making this world a better place together.
Thank you so much, Sarah. What a beautiful presentation. I'm so glad to have you on our team. And of course, great to have you here in New York City working on oceans and climate with us. And with that, I'd like to introduce next our Ocean and Climate Youth Ambassador Program with a short 6-minute video that introduces the program and also features our next presenter, Manzel. So please enjoy this short video.
My name is Genevieve Chipa, and I'm from Fiji. Peaceboat has introduced the Ocean and Climate Youth Ambassador Program, which is a program that brings together youth from small island developing states to come together on a 3-week journey, share their stories about climate change and ocean degradation.
Peaceboat travels all over the world to try to achieve the global goals. The Ocean and Climate Youth Ambassador Program specifically focuses on goals 13 and 14, which are climate action and life below water.
We are here for the same thing with a common goal, to raise our voices, to share our knowledge, and to speak up for what we think is right.
All of the ambassadors are from small island states which are affected by climate change. We physically see it in our islands. Peaceboat is bringing us together to try and find solutions and to get our stories told so that in the future we can have change.
On this voyage, we are visiting ports in Stockholm, Denmark, Bergen, Reykjavik, Halifax, and New York. We started using the Talanoa dialogue in Stockholm when we began the program. Talanoa is a concept in Fiji in the Pacific, which means an inclusive and participatory dialogue. It's meant to be a very positive framing of an issue and meant to focus on solutions and how we can progress to make a better world. It is incredibly important to have more voices heard because different people could have different solutions and solutions that we might not know about.
Climate change is a worldwide discussion. It is something that everyone has to be part of. So obviously it is people and young people just as the ambassadors, but it's also NGOs, it's also businesses, it's also governmental organizations.
With the Paris Agreement that was adopted in 2015 and the SDGs, we have an international framework, universal agreements that all governments around the world have decided to move forward to work towards a sustainable development that also protect the planet, but also has a focus on the well-being of people. But at the end of the day, it is a social transformation. This training program is about empowering people to not only be aware about the problem, but to live the solution.
Having Adriana here from the UNFCCC was a really good partnership. It was a bridge between the information that comes from the UN and us, the ambassadors, people who are trying to create change.
Meeting different kinds of activists that are actually doing what they believe is right. It felt really inspiring because now I know how it looks like to actually do these things.
This is a really good chance to give voices to a younger generation where we believe the future is ours and we share the same goal and we share the same problems and we share the same passion for our survival.
Hello, my name is Frances from Seychelles, and all the youth ambassadors have gathered here at the United Nations to talk about the program on Peaceboat and what we have learned, and we're happy to contribute to the high-level political part. Since we live on the island, we see the impact. I think the youth should be given more opportunities. Most of the time when there's conference, it's usually the ministers, the president that goes, but we don't have that platform to speak out. And I think that is very important.
It's been a very inspiring journey for us. We didn't know each other and now we've been like families to each other. If that can happen, I hope that it transcends throughout our journey when we go back home and for the rest of our lives.
Something new for me, really, really new. I have to take some actions. I'm pledging I will do something in my country.
Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that short video. It gave you a good introduction to our Ocean and Climate Youth Ambassador program. And that was made by Ryan Carl, a videographer who is based in New York City. And with that, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Welcome, Manzel, to the show.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with everyone. If you're watching live, welcome. Welcome to the new school year. I'm really excited to see you guys. Just a little bit about myself. I'm the one who's off the coast of California. I'm right now just off the coast of Long Beach. I'm in Catalina, working with some kelp researchers. But I'm originally from the Republic of Palau. My background is in military and maritime law enforcement. So a lot of my work involves working on the water, in the ocean, away from land. I first heard about the Peaceboat when I was in Palau. In Palau, where I'm from, we introduced a new a visa system where our visitors, our tourists that come to Palau would have to sign a pledge. It's basically a contract that each visitor has to sign that basically make them committed to saving the environment and making sure that their impact to the environment is as little as possible when they leave. I got on the Peaceboat's 98th voyage. We started out in Stockholm. We went from Stockholm to Norway, to Denmark, to Norway, to Reykjavik in Iceland, and to Nova Scotia in Canada, and then finally ended the voyage in New York. Throughout the entire voyage, I am from the South Pacific, and the countries that I went to are mostly in Europe and in Scandinavia. So the issues that we were talking about the climate and the ocean degradation and how we can all work together to develop this sustainable means of saving our planet, it became evident to me that there was a big difference between where I was from and the people that I was talking to. The effects of climate change has touched us differently. And through the Peaceboat program, I was able to seek new solutions for the problems that we were facing in my home country, and also provide solutions to those who are experiencing the same problems that we have, like ocean sea level rise or plastic in the ocean, how to control and mitigate those problems. And through this, working with the Peaceboat and the network that Peaceboat is involved with, I was able to meet significant people from around the world that opened my eyes to many different things that I wasn't exposed to before. So in the picture right now, you see me and Sylvia Earle and another Peaceboat ambassador. We were in Bali for the Oceans Conference in Indonesia in 2019. On the right, you can see me with the Nobel Prize that was awarded to the International Coalition for the Abolition of Nuclear weapons, and that was on the Peaceboat, like Sarah spoke about before. I got to meet the Hibakshes and was able to sympathize or empathize with what they were going through at the time. The Peaceboat overall really gave me the opportunity to network and connect with people that got me to where I am today. And just last year or beginning of this year during the summer, we were in Palau, where I'm from, for the Our Oceans Conference, and those are the pictures of us there doing some community work. We were able to do some coastal cleanups, and there were actually some political agendas that we were attached to save the marine sanctuary in Palau. So those are just some of the pictures that I wanted to share with you guys. And that the Peaceboat overall really gave us the opportunity to be one with people that we never thought that we had any commonality with. But also with going through the Peaceboat, I was able to connect with the Blue Planet Alliance and become one of their ambassadors as well. And through all this work, I just want to try to make sure that the message that we're giving out, the work that we're doing, is to make sure that we are solving those sustainable development goals, the life underwater, climate action, and education, like what we're doing now. Palau is a small country. It's a country that relies on tourism, and with that comes along with a lot of problems that people who have not been exposed to the environment that we have to protect. So I work hard to try to promote, while I work hard to try to promote sustainable tourism, in the same sense, I try to educate people to try to live a symbiotic life with the environment around them. What can you do to help the environment, and what can you do to get what the environment is providing you, so that it's an equal give and take. Next picture. And these are just some of the pictures that I want to show you guys. This is a jellyfish lake in Palau. Emilie and I were able to swim with millions of jellyfish. And this is just one of the example of the work that we have to do. In 2015, this lake was completely empty because of global warming and droughts and stuff made it impossible for the jellyfish to grow. And because of conservation efforts and sustainable tourism practices, we were able to get the jellyfish back in the lake and really see the revival of the really see how strong the ecosystem is and how it was able to regenerate itself with little help from human impact. Next. And that's just me and Emilie on a dive. It was a great experience. This is where we went to dive. This is where I dive almost every once a month. So it was really nice to see people, Emilie, I'm sorry, but city goers to come in and see the natural beauty that Palau had to offer, and kind of experience that for themselves and see what the natural beauty of the world has to offer.
Thank you, Manzel. Yeah, so exciting. It was really beautiful to be with you in Palau. And here again, we just have the photo from Jellyfish Lake, which is also a World Heritage Site recognized by UNESCO. And also that conference of the Our Ocean Conference was so important for so many island nations to come together. So I was really glad to have you there. And just really excited now that you're an Ocean and Climate Youth Ambassador for Peaceboat and a Blue Planet Alliance Global Ambassador. So we've got lots of work to do ahead of us. And thank you for joining us here on the show today. And then with that, I also have another Blue Planet Alliance Global Ambassador who's here today, Helen Mancini from New York City, who's a climate activist. Welcome to the show, Helen. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm currently at school, so you might hear some background noise. But sorry.
Great, no worries. Really happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, so I'm just here to talk about like how we do working towards a sustainable development goal of climate action as teenagers in New York City and youth. So together with Fridays for Future New York City, where the New York City branch is actually the biggest in the United States of the international Fridays for Future community. And we strike every Friday and have global or international climate strikes that we coordinate with all of the other Fridays for Future groups all over the world. And so here's some photos from some of the strikes that we have done, and this is the team. It's all of us together, and we all are really good friends and spend a lot of time with each other through this activism and through seeing each other every Friday. Yes, okay, so here's how we plan for the strikes. We do art builds and all get together to make signs, use artistic skills. And if you see the photo on the far right is me making a speech at one of the climate strikes, because together, after we vote on our demands for what we want happening in policy to strive for climate action, we have to say them at our strikes. And so that's what I was doing on that day. I was explaining how and why we chose our demands for that strike. And you can see that we're up there talking to, that strike had a turnout of 3,000 people, all mainly high schoolers. And together we were able to promote climate policy, and a lot of that climate policy that we are promoting in our strikes does actually get passed because we have the help of many of the other climate organizations in the city, which are intergenerational. So just as the youth part of the movement, we mobilize high school students. That leads me to my next slide, actually. Oh, the one before, yeah. So I'm the leader of the school ambassador program, which means that at every high school, we'd like to have one person who is an ambassador for Fridays for Future, who mobilizes students at their school who maybe don't know much about climate change or know much about how to get involved and get their voices heard. And so at my school, you can see the logo of my school next to the Fridays for Future school. I'm a school ambassador, and like these are two of my peers who are coming to the climate strike that's actually happening this Friday. And together we do art together, we make signs together, and we leave the building, our school building, together to go to the strike and to hear some of the amazing speakers. And actually on the September 23rd, we're going to be hearing from the UN Special Envoy and activists like Gia Bastida and Jerome Foster II, other international youth activists and also an activist from the Pacific Islands supporting the advisory opinion to the ICJ, which is just another piece of international climate policy that as a youth activist group that we are supporting. We also think it's really important to align our country and our city with the international goals of the UN and with other activists so that we can all be working towards the same solution. So we choose to have international as well as national and local goals at every strike. And moving on to the next slide, another thing that we often do as a group of youth who are interested in promoting climate action is political activism. There's a group called Triage, which endorses climate champions who are running for local offices in our communities. And together we do phone banking, which meaning calling voters, encouraging them to vote for climate champions, and going to canvass for them. And we get to meet them and talk about climate policy together and things that we want to see happening from our elected officials that will support, what the youth want in this movement. And together, it's just a really educational, but also community building experience because we all get to work together towards the same goal and, do different types of activism, whether it's political, artistic, with striking. We do it all together in order to have the same goal, which is one of the SDGs, and that's climate action. And, obviously as young people, we're really excited, and the movement is building back up, and we're really excited to, be a part of it. And on this Friday strike, we're expecting to have about 5,000 people, and having helped plan that all summer, I'm really excited to be there. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Helen. It's really exciting to have you join us, and also really proud of you for becoming a Blue Planet Alliance Global Ambassador, and looking forward to supporting your strike as well on Friday. So everyone that's watching today, I just want to say that you're all welcome to join us on board the Peaceboat or with Blue Planet Alliance as some of our ocean and climate youth. You can become a leader, and you can help us also in pushing forward our work towards the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs. And with that, I would like to introduce next also our future project of Peaceboat. And one of the ways that we joined Blue Planet Alliance, because they are working towards 100% renewable energy for the future, especially focused on solar and wind energy. And Peaceboat also is working towards having a renewable energy ship, which is our eco ship. And we're so excited to think about this vessel as the future space that we will use for Peaceboat's lectures and workshops on board, using energy from the sun and wind as we're traveling on the ocean. We would have a lot of opportunity to have renewable energy to power our ship. And so with that, I would also like to just show you a little bit about the eco ship and the future projects that we have. Not only are we going to be using solar and wind energy, but we also have, for example, a kinetic energy dance floor. So for those of you who like dancing, you can also help create energy while you're dancing in the club on board the ship. And we're going to have a marine research laboratory, which you can see here. We'll learn a lot more about citizen science and how we can research about the changes in the ocean. And we'll have real ecosystems on board. So we'll have trees and plants that come from all around the world as part of our plant kingdom in this ecosystem in the middle of the ship. And we also have a video which will show you exactly what this eco ship will look like. So please enjoy this short clip. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed that short video, and I just want to invite you all again to join us. Blue Planet Alliance is welcoming global ambassadors from all around the world, and you can be any age for students who are tuning in. And Peaceboat is always welcoming youth on board. Our youngest students on board are in the Montessori education program from ages 2 to 7 years old. And of course, our scholarships are open to students of all ages. And we welcome you to come and be part of our program. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in.
Fantastic. Emilie and all our amazing speakers, what an awesome chance to hear from you all today. Again, such personally inspiring stories, and I hope our classes take a lot away from that, both live with us on StreamYard and on YouTube today. This program will be recorded forever, so if you want to hear some of these stories again, tune in, learn more, lots of opportunity to do just that. And what I want to do now is, I know we're going a little longer than we usually do, so we're rebels together. If you do have any questions for us, please do email us at exploringbytheseatofyourpants or ebtsoip@gmail.com. We'll make sure Emilie and the team get those. I'm going to bring in all our speaker friends to join us and share a few of those awesome links for you all to keep the learning going before we wrap up today's broadcast. So Sarah, Juan Sebastian, Manzel with a dog, that's exciting, and Helen joining us live from school. So nice to have you all. Again, peaceboat.org, blueplanetalliance.org, the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. These are things that are interspersed with a lot of our broadcasts. I really hope you take the chance to check them out. And of course, we learned a little bit more from our speakers to our Fridays for the Future New York City. This is a global initiative, but if you want to check out the specific one with 5,000 people set to join, do check out that website. And of course, ecoship-pb.com if you want to learn more about that amazing vessel. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate your time and have a wonderful rest of the day, everyone. Bye for now, guys. See you all soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.